Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to give you guys some further impressions of the Amazon Kindle Fire. Now I've had some time to spend with this device, so it's time for the Digitally Digested segment where I'm going to give you guys basically everything you need to know about this tablet in order to figure out whether it's right for you. Again, a $200 device, 1 gigahertz dual core processor, a 7-inch IPS display, 1024 by 600 resolution. You're looking at a gig of internal RAM, 8 gigs of storage, 6 of which are usable. So if you're looking for a tablet to take all your media with you, this is not the device. Move on. No question about it. I don't care how compelling the price is, how well it's built, how good the screen is. This isn't going to be your all-in-one media device if you're trying to bring your media with you. However, if you're willing to rely on the cloud and have access to a hotspot, Wi-Fi, etc., then this probably is going to be a product you're going to really enjoy, especially at that $200 price point. So beyond that, storage, of course, Wi-Fi, BGN connectivity, and overall really nice design. No cameras here, no HDMI out, no storage expansion as I mentioned a second ago. So keep all of that in mind. Even though it's $200, some corners have been cut intentionally because after all, Amazon is a retailer and this tablet is a media consumption retailing device. It is a dispenser of sorts. No question about it. Just like the iPad, Amazon has taken that approach and they've done a really solid job. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. As you can see, here's the UI. It is running on an Android build of Gingerbread, not 2.1 like I mentioned in the initial impressions. It has been updated. In fact, I recently got the update to version 6.2 of Amazon's own software, which has brought a couple of new things, but nothing groundbreaking. And Amazon has sold a ton of these, and for good reason. A $200 tablet that's solid and can do pretty much anything the average user will want to do. If you're looking to bridge your smartphone and laptop experience, I wouldn't say this is the device to do that. Again, this is a multimedia consumption device. So with that said, let's look at what it has to offer. The UI, very similar to what Amazon has put on all mobile platforms out there right now in their own application. You've got your recently used apps, which I haven't found a way to actually edit, as well as your bookshelf for favorites, which you can easily add any application to, with a simple long press, as I'll demonstrate right now. And voila, it is now sitting on our bookshelf of favorites. It's that simple and just as easy to remove them, exact same process. Amazon's looking to make this UI really straightforward, and that has been accomplished. You've got your search bar right up there in the top left corner of the window that is always available to you. You've got your newsstand, which will give you access to both on-device and cloud stuff in terms of print media such as magazines. If you go ahead and go to the store, you can purchase things individually, as you can see here. And this is what those of you out there that are looking to have, again, a media consumption device will really appreciate, no question about it. Let me go ahead and jump back home. Again, same applies to books. If you go ahead and jump to the store, you'll see, of course, if you're a Kindle user of past, you'll be very, very happy with what you find here. In fact, to those of you out there who are Kindle users questioning whether or not it's an upgrade, it absolutely is. Go ahead and jump on it, in my opinion. Of course, unless you're really satisfied with your Kindle and you want a legitimate, and when I say legitimate tablet, I do mean a honeycomb tablet. This is, again, running a custom UI over Gingerbread. It doesn't mean it's not a tablet. Clearly it is. But in terms of performance, I can't really match the Fire with the honeycomb experience. I know a lot of other people out there in the media right now are saying that there's no question the Fire competes with the iPad and it's superior to most offerings. It's a different device. I can't compare it to Honeycomb. I can compare it to the iPad because of the media consumption slant. But moving away from that, again, if you are a Kindle owner, I think that you'll be very happy with the upgrades you get here, which you'll continue to see as I go through this review. So there's, access to all of your e-reading that you would have had on your Kindle, except now, of course, you're looking at a different screen and form factor. You can go ahead and jump to the music store, and, it's more of the same. I'm not going to really go through every part of this for you, but most importantly, video, one of the areas this device really shines, because if you're an Amazon Prime member, which does come at an $80 a year fee, which does give you, I believe, $3 2-day shipping on, free 2-day shipping on any order, as well as I believe it's $3 for overnight shipping. So a pretty good perk if you do a lot of business with Amazon to begin with. But then to boot, if you own a Kindle Fire, you now have access to thousands of television shows as well as movies through their streaming content that is usually, a purchasable rather media, but again, with Prime is completely unlimited and free to use. So again, giving you a tremendous amount of content within the confines of this 7-inch screen, especially since you do not have any video out capabilities. There are also movies that are more recent, because again, this is, I'm not going to call it a stale selection, but it certainly has been aged. The recent content, newer stuff, is going to cost you money, of course. This is where Amazon really cleans up. For most of you out there, this isn't a big deal. Obviously, this is what you've come to expect from using devices like the iPad. So movies, $3, TV shows, $2, pretty much standard fare. Of course, you do have access to your own library, but again, that's going to be very limited, at least on device, since you only have 6 gigs. So you're really dependent on having access to that internet connection, no question about it. A very much cloud-centric device, no question there. The App Store, really impressive. Even though it is not Android on its own, and it's Amazon's own App Store, it is without a doubt one of the best app stores that's not, direct from the manufacturer as far as I'm concerned. Their free paid app a day is fantastic. I have hundreds of free apps from them as a result. You can store those obviously on the cloud or the device. A common theme here throughout every element of this tablet. It also has, of course, its own documents. So, essentially, this tablet can do everything else, that the average tablet out there can do. And then some. Of course, it does have a flash-capable browser, which I'm going to show you guys now, which is dubbed Silk. And it does perform pretty well. Let's see if it'll open up here. Show you guys some flash video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Motorola Laptop 100, if it permits. Here we go. Seems like it's playing with me.
Now, this is one of 2 laptops that Motorola recently introduced to revamp their laptop lineup, which really only included the Atrix and Bionic laptop, which were proprietary and could only work with those 2 phones. This new series of laptops, the 100, which I have here, which is priced at $200.
Basically, I just wanted to give you guys a test, a sample of the quality. It performs really well. Speakers are really loud. I have found that they are at the top of the device, which, considering the device is optimized for landscape video viewing like we have it right now, really not so bright to put the speakers here. So even though they're really powerful and they put out a lot of sound for a small, inexpensive tablet like the Fire, it is going to be muffled by your left hand inherently. Of course, if you watch something in portrait, you won't have that problem, but I don't know a lot of people that watch video in portrait. A really small gripe, but something I have to point out anyway. Moving away from flash performance, again, it's really solid. You guys won't have any problems with it, I promise. 720p is pushing it a little bit on this tablet, but you got to remember, $200 price point, and keep your expectations in line. I think Amazon, comes in above most of what anyone would expect from a tablet at this price point. So really, again, very minor complaint about those top-mounted stereo speakers. Show you a little more web browsing. Let's go ahead and just show you some loading times. Let's jump over to Engadget. We'll actually go through a Google search first. Again, this is running over Wi-Fi. And, on the whole, I found the browsing experience to be pretty smooth. Again, not quite as good as what you'd find on a Honeycomb tablet, but certainly very close. And that's a lot to accomplish at a $200 retail price point, especially since we all know this device is only going to go down in price as it continues to mature in the marketplace. Pinch to zoom, works really well most of the time at least, and I just on the whole find it to be a pleasure to use. Battery life on this device is really good. Rated at 7.5 to I believe around 9 hours. I've been seeing around 7 to 8 hours of solid continuous use. A good way of, at least for me, of testing these tablets is on NFL game day, when you're sitting and watching X number of consecutive football games. It's really nice to just set one of the tablets up. That's one of the tests I do, to just see how long it'll make it on surfing, and just let the stats roll and see how many games this the tablet can make it through. And this legitimately was able to go almost through 3 games, which was really impressive for me in terms of what I watched over the course of Sunday. So, I'm really impressed with what Amazon has brought to the table. And again, if you're, a previous Kindle user, I think you'll be really happy with it on the whole. If you're, looking to, again, bridge the gap between your mobile phone and laptop, I think you should be looking at a honeycomb tablet that's a little bit more feature rich, because with the Black Friday and Cyber Monday, the holiday weekend sales that, went on, there were plenty of opportunities to pick up honeycomb tablets in that $200 to $300 price range. And I would really have to encourage those of you who are, wondering whether or not they need that extra functionality to go that route instead of the Fire. Again, if you're looking for a pure media consumption device, you'll be hard pressed to find a better experience, let alone one that comes at a lower price than this. But of course, part of getting that $200 price point down there is knowing that all of that media is going to cost you money, except for the Amazon Prime service, which of course does still cost you $80, but is more of a value-oriented cost than obviously purchasing all of your media content individually, which will become a very pricey experience. So again, you're not going to be able to take your music or movie collection on this device unless you've bought all of it from Amazon. That really is the bottom line out there. And I think that most of you at the $200 price point will be really happy with this. Again, battery life is stellar, screen quality is great, web browsing performance is good. I won't say fantastic, but it's certainly good. Flash performance is good, not as good as I've seen on products like the Zoom or pretty much any honeycomb tablet running Tegra 2, but everything else just works. No cameras here. Some of you will miss those. Some of you, I know, don't care about cameras on tablets, understandably. I think they should have at least included a front-facing cam, since that's pretty much standard even on all new smartphones these days. And that really is, again, indicative of the fact that Amazon isn't trying to make this a bridge device. It's really only about media consumption, and that's why a webcam doesn't even really fit into the picture here. Of course, no HDMI out, no storage expansion. If any of these things are on your short list, look somewhere else. I don't care how attractive the $200 price point is, you're buying the wrong device for yourself. And, that's what I'm here to try to help you guys with. On the whole, though, I really do like everything that Amazon has done here. If you jump into the actual Amazon one-click purchase store, it's really easy to just burn your wallet. No question about it, because with one touch, you've purchased these products. So an upside and downside, of course, very similar to the iPad, except the iPad doesn't have their own, Apple doesn't have their own tremendous, e-tailoring outfit to sell you pretty much anything on the planet that you could possibly want, whereas Amazon does. So, really, Amazon is leveraging this from every single angle, and again, I think they accomplished their goal at a really appropriate price. I do think that one day we're going to see Amazon putting out tablets for free, because there's no question the way they've monetized this device and selling everything that you're going to be using for it, in many ways it shouldn't be coming at a cost, because it's going to be purely an expense through the course of its lifespan with you. That's not really a negative, just a fact, and I want to make all of you out there aware. Beyond that, let me show you guys, instead of the traditional Android drop down notification menu, you've got essentially just tapping on your Kindle button there, which will show you whatever's happened recently. You've got your time in the center, settings, quick settings I should say right there, which bring up the lock for screen orientation, volume level, brightness, Wi-Fi, sync, which you will need to tap in order to update things like email, clients, and even in order to get the 6.2 push on the update for the software for this device, I did have to hit sync in order for it to recognize that it was available. I couldn't just go and do the update, which I'm going to show you guys right now by jumping into the more settings here. So you can see this is the balance of settings that you can dig into on the device. So really, Android, not buried, but you're not going to actually ever see it. Amazon has skinned every element under the hood. So but everything is fairly standard. This is a customized experience, and I think, again, as I've repeated myself throughout the course of this video, Amazon has pulled off their goal. The Kindle Fire, without a doubt, is a great purchase at $200. As I've mentioned, great screen, great processor, great battery life. Just remember, this is a pure consumption device aimed at competing with the iPad at a much lower price. So if that's what you're looking for, then this is probably the right tablet for you. For the demographic that I think Amazon was reaching to, at least a lot of their users who are older and need reading glasses, I'm not sure that 7 inches is the perfect size, even though I know it is the same size as your average, soft cover book. I still don't know that that demographic really desires a 7-inch tablet. In my experience, most users that are older do prefer a larger tablet. So, I'm not sure that 7 inches was the perfect size, but the marketplace so far loves it. It's selling like crazy. So it seems, despite what I think about demographics, the Kindle Fire is certainly worthy of its name. This thing is on fire. That's a little bit lame. But the point is, it's selling unbelievably. So if you're on the fence, guys, I wholeheartedly endorse the Kindle Fire. I think it's a great tab, especially if you're going to be using all of Amazon's content. If not, I think you should spend your $200 elsewhere, as it will go a lot farther in terms of giving you access to basically everything that you need in your own multimedia collection beyond what Amazon has to offer. Especially, again, like I said, bridging that gap, allowing you to do things that computers do, which this device clearly cannot. Also, in terms of build, I just want to mention this in closing. No dedicated volume on here, which means you're going to have to go into settings. A little bit silly. But again, really just indicative of the fact that Amazon made this tablet only for media consumption and more as a build off of the e-reader platform. After all, an e-reader wouldn't have a dedicated volume button. So it kind of makes sense, since this is really more of an e-reader than an internet tablet, even though Amazon would like to, have us think that it's equally both, or I'm not even sure. But of course, your micro USB, your power button, your 3.5mm headphone jack. Not in love with the power button here for the same reason I'm not in love with the speakers being here. If you're holding the tablet in landscape, you can easily press that. But on the whole, build quality is really nice. Very happy with this device. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.